Okay, I'm going to show you how to turn 5 pounds of, this is medium ground beef. I prefer medium. You can use regular, but it's fatty and it'll shrink. And I prefer not to use lean because it doesn't have enough fat. You need a little bit of fat for the flavor. Here's my Angelino Donair meat seasoning. You just cut off the top, you take the seasoning, and you just sprinkle the spices. There's 9 herbs and spices in there over the hamburger. Start kneading it in. Stir in the whole bag. This will make 10 large Donairs. I'll form them into 5 large Donair balls. Put them on the broiler plate, cook them for 350 degrees, which you'll see in the next segment. And just keep doing this for a while and then mix in the rest of the spice as you go along. It only takes about 5 minutes. Another 5 minutes to form the 5 Donair loaves that make the 10 Donairs. Each Donair loaf makes... Alright, so we're going to keep kneading in our Angelino Donair meat seasoning into the hamburger. Like I said, this only takes about 5 minutes to make your Donair meat. You want to mix it very thoroughly before you form your loaves, your 5 Donair meat loaves, which you would do on the broiler here. So I'll just do this, and in the next segment I'll start forming the loaves. Smell. And this is triple ground, medium ground beef, by the way. Some grocery stores. Okay, we're forming our Donair meat loaves. You need to make 5 of them. That's about the size of a big baseball. Call them pods or loaves, whatever you want to call them. In your hand like that. I just put them on the broiler plate. You need 5 of them. I have a little scale, I weigh them, but you don't need to. Just 5 equal loaves. You can pretty well tell. Each of these will make 2 large Donairs. You put them in a little freezer bag. Keep them in your freezer and your fridge. Use them whenever you want, or you eat them right away. And there's the 5th one. Spice left over. Easy. It takes about 5 minutes to mix in the spice seasoning, and it takes about 5 minutes to form the loaves, and then it's ready to throw in the oven for 1 hour at 350 degrees. Right, so our 5 Donair meat loaves are formed, almost like little pods or Christmas trees, whatever you want to call them. So you can see what I'm doing here. You're just trying to, it almost looks like Donair meat on the spit, and that's what it'll look like when it comes out. Gives more surface area than just putting it in one big loaf, but you can put it in one big loaf and cook it in some other type of pan that you cook in your oven. I like to cook it on the broiler pan because the fat will, leak down into the broiler pan, and it's less fatty. Anyway, take the broiler pan, put it in the oven. Oven's on 350. Pretty good view of that. And I'll show it when it's halfway cooked, and when we take it out, it'll take about 1 hour to cook. Alright, we're at about the halfway point. It takes 1 hour to cook your Donair meat. Then open the oven, about 30 minutes into it. As you can see, they look like these 5 Donair meat loaves cooking on the broiler plate. You might be able to hear them sizzling now. And each of these Donair meat loaves will make 2 large Donairs. So we've got about a half hour to go, and then we're going to show in video number 2. We're going to show us preparing the fixings, preparing the Donair sauce, and actually making the Donairs. In the third video, we'll show us slicing up the meat, crisping it in the frying pan, making the actual Donairs, Donair subs, Donair pizzas. And at the end of this video, we're actually going to show a Donair platter with the Donair meat and some home French fries that we made. There's lots of things you can make with Donair meat. You can make meatloaf, plus, like I said, the Donair subs, Donairs, Donair pizza, Donair everything. So anyway, we'll show. All right, it's been 1 hour, and our Donair meat is pretty well cooked. So I'm gonna take the Donair meat out of the oven. Here's the 5 Donair meatloafs on the broiler plate. Careful you don't spill the grease. Now you may notice at the lower right hand corner it says angelinospice.com, and there's a link there. If you click on that, that will go to the second video in of the 3 videos, and that's where we'll show us making the Donairs, Donair pizzas, Donair subs. Now so what I do, I let these cool down, and then I'll just show cutting into one of them. You just want to cook them until they're cooked throughout. They're ready to eat right away. Or what I do is I let them. Alright, there's the 5 Donair meatloaves. I've taken one of them and I've sliced it up. This is all the Donair meat you get from one Donair meatloaf on one plate. That'll make about 2 large Donairs. And then what I do is when these cool down, I just take just a regular freezer bag, sandwich bag actually. I just put one of these loaves in the bag, and then I can freeze it for later, or I can refrigerate it for later. We're going to eat these right now because there's about 8 of us over here. And
I'm going to try it. Very good.
And then we'll show the Donair platter in a minute.
Delicious.
Good.